Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Lineage Break Live, a Grand Archive TCG live show. I am your host, Cam. With me, as always, is Trusty Steve.
Where's my... You gotta put the button. You gotta put the button.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. Hey, Cam.
Hi.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
How are you?
I'm dying in more ways than one. It looks like I have pink eye. My teeth hurt. I'm having an old man day today where everything hurts and I'm old and I hate it. So we're hoping that gets better. But we are here for you, chat, to talk about your favorite game. Hopefully, Grand Archive trading card game, anime, the Western game design, anime.
Yeah,
art. That one. Today we are one whole week away from Ascent Boston, and we had a nice lengthy discussion last week about our thoughts on your theoretical meta decks. We hope that you guys enjoyed that. It seems like people did enjoy that, Steven.
Yeah.
His viewership was quite good, so we appreciate that. Thank you. Today, not quite the same topic. We have we're now a little bit removed from our predictions, as we have a few events that happened this week. A couple of local Yeti events, but two higher profile events being Quicksilver Cup in Auckland and the DTR Winnacase that was hosted by Yeti. Obviously, I know there are some caveats. Some of the quote-unquote top players might be hiding the sauce for the big event next weekend, but we do have some amount of data. And today we want to talk about not necessarily the good decks, the KFC Groja deck or whatever. We want to talk about I use the word rogue decks as a kind way to put it. We're going to talk about the meme decks today.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. We love some meme decks.
It wouldn't be Grand or Lineage Break if we weren't talking about the memes.
So we want to
give us a sauce.
Yeah,
spice.
We want to talk about your spicy meme decks and give you a yay or nay on if we think they are real decks or if this is cursed week one nonsense. And I think we'll be somewhere on the middle as far as the decks we talk about. And then after that, we're going to talk about Boston a little bit. Some predictions for, of course, the closing ceremony where all of the announcements for the future of Grand Archive happen, and we love to talk about that, so we're going to talk about that a little bit.
So excited. Ooh. We're back into that grace period, you know what I mean? We're like a set in, or like a couple weeks into the new set. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna start getting
the juice,
the little tidbits and the little drops here and there.
We already got our first PTM tidbit, weeks ago. So we're already in tidbit season as far as I'm concerned.
Correct.
I liked at any time.
I know you didn't.
Yeah, one of us did. Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're all of the events are so close together for the next couple of months as well. It's we have Boston, and then 3 weeks after that is Taipei. 4 weeks after that is Niagara Falls. 4 weeks after that is Akihabara, and then the set's out.
Yeah.
So it's going to be lots of spice, lots of stuff for us to talk about.
I love it,
which is good because I was really worried when they delayed Mortal Ambition Alter that we were going to have a weird slow season because we don't have anything to sort of break up this 4 months, right? We don't have any new cards until December, which is the first time in a while since FTC format that it's been this long without a Grand Archive release. And so I was really worried that, things would get stale or, the meta would suck. Remains to be seen. But at least we have plenty of events to keep us busy.
Yeah, we could get a Proxia's Codex card.
True. Proxia's Vault card. Shout out to Proxia's Codex, official spoiler side of Lineage Break.
True.
Yeah,
if you want to see your Proxia Codex card leaked, you can see it on Proxia's Codex.
If you want to see your Proxia's Vault card.
Yeah,
there you go.
Whatever.
They're all the same word. Yeah. It's fine.
Shout out to that guy for making it confusing.
Yeah. Producer Son, rest in peace. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. I hope the format develops a little bit. We did see, I guess, briefly talking like we know what we're talking about. But, of course, if you guys want to, hear good players, you can go watch the TCG podcast. There was a bit of a shift from the couple of events that we had this past weekend, being Quicksilver, DTR, one case, Yeti, or whatever. There was a Yeti Weekly yesterday, which again, weekly event, not necessarily telling of the format or whatever. But there was way more Win Tristan representation in that tournament. Almost all of the top decks were playing Win Tristan. And so I think maybe Fire's like dominance over the format is a little bit overstated. There are things that you can do to combat these Ryle decks and to combat the Fire aggro decks. And so if you play them, you can see some success. I'm not saying I don't think Fire's on top. I think Fire is probably the best element this set. But, of course, there are always ways that you can mitigate that. So I hope we see a nice balance at Ascent Boston of the Wind and the Fire decks. I don't think we'll see a particular balance of Water decks. But that's okay.
Water had its time. It's been like a year and a half, right?
It feels like I can't remember a time
where water wasn't good. Yeah, me either.
Yeah, where you didn't go to a top 8 and it was like, wow, 7 water decks again. Oh boy. It was like such a refreshing time that Worlds wasn't a top 8 full of water decks, but that's just because like a bunch of the players knew they were going first, so they played FISA. You know? It's not like water decks didn't get them there, you know. So yeah. So Steven,
Cameron,
without further ado, let's delve into some memes. Now listen, Steven, the people at home. There's one particular deck that you might see mentioned in our thumbnail. Steven has some thoughts about that deck, which I can't wait to get to. But of course, we're gonna leave that one for the end because I know that you guys want to hear us talk about that deck. It's the talk of the town, the new Limelight special, whatever starter deck Lorraine Ferrari wants to call it. So we'll get to that one. But before we get there, Steven, how about we start you off on a good note, a good happy note.
All right.
We've seen some like real success. Obviously, a bunch of these decks that we're talking about didn't like win tournaments. It would be a much bigger deal if we were like, this is the deck that won Quicksilver Cup, and it was like some strange, bizarre pile.
Correct.
Those aren't the decks we're talking about today. We are going to be talking about decks that did well. We're not going to say that we're not like grabbing the 0-4 deck. You can bring whatever terrible pile that you want to a tournament and go 0-4. These are decks that like did well enough that you might like be like, are they like cooking something here? Is there some sort of merit to playing this? And so one of those, a couple of those, but one of those that we've seen is a CL deck. We've seen actually quite a few CL decks doing okay this past week, which I think does speak to what we talked about last week. Where he is like pretty powerful. People just like have to figure out what they want to do with him. But one of those decks is a like Umbra. I don't want to say it's Spectre focused, but it is ally focused, and it has a lot of recovery tools, stuff like
Mad Tea Party and Siphoning Fractal.
Siphoning Fractal, that's the one I was looking for in my brain. And Sotir's Vortex. Lots of ways to get incidental recovery in a format full of burn decks. Right. And that is sort of what Steve's been playing lately. So
I've been playing a lot of that deck, actually. It's been my pet project ever since Pasta played his version of it.
Shout out Progenitor,
Pasta. Their version of it in a Yetis. And then Cam was like, you should look at this deck.
It's sick.
And it was cool.
Yeah.
However, I think it needed the work and obviously the Spectre package.
Yeah. Those are good.
And I've been playing it for 2 weeks now. And the deck is so cool. Just being able to like leverage your 30 health and make it way harder for people to kill you, because like now you have from 30 health you have infinite health because you just have so many life gain tools, like you were saying, Siphoning Fractal, Mad Tea Party. I've been playing Restorative Flame.
Yeah.
To get the 6 health from that. And it's felt so good. And the card draw in it rivals that of Merlin, which is insane.
Right.
I've been doing a lot of testing into Merlin decks. And
there's a few of those around here.
Yeah. And the really the only difference between me and Merlin is they put a deer out, and I have to deal with the deer.
Right.
Which is not even hard. It just puts me off a turn, and then that putting me off a turn is what usually loses me the game, because the next turn they triple fireball you, right?
Yeah, you spent your turn dealing with their deer. They didn't have to commit any resources to protecting themselves, and then they, throw a bunch of fireballs at your head.
Yeah,
sounds reasonable.
And that's literally the only issue I've had with the deck so far. Like, any time I've been playing into allies, it's just like, hey, I'll play. They'll play an ally. I'm like, all right. Well, I'll gain 3 because you play this ally. I'm gonna kill it.
Right. Or you play your Carter or whatever. You wipe their board. You gain 15 life.
Right. I've done that 3 times.
Right.
Where it's just like my opponent put a board out against like cardistry or something, and I'm just like, all right, well, I'll play this Carter. I'll sacrifice the dungeon guide. I'll kill you.
Yeah, it feels like it sits sort of in the middle. By the way, I was looking at the list, and deserving of a shout out. We said that none of these decks won the events that we're talking about. This deck did win the Yeti that it was in. It went 4-0
sweet.
in Rhea's hands, I believe. So congratulations to them. But it feels like it's somewhere in the middle of those decks, and that is not necessarily like a bad place to be, where I think you're probably going to be a dog to the like hyper late game decks, stuff like Merlin, Tristan. But I think you far and away have a better matchup into the aggro decks, because those decks do kind of struggle when people just like create a board. Merlin doesn't draw Flame Sweep. She loses a game basically every time when you're playing against Cardistry or any of these other fire aggressive ally decks. But this Spectre CL deck basically just has to get to level 3, and then almost all of your tools are built to beat these like go wide burn decks or aggro decks or whatever.
Right.
Because you just have so much incidental recover. So I think it's puts you in a spot where like you'll be really good into those decks, and you're like you said, you're not like a dog into Merlin.
Right.
It's just, they're probably favored, but
it is.
You get to play
really,
the game.
It's really hard. It's a really hard matchup. But I haven't been testing tools like Spirella or anything into the Merlin decks. I've just been playing my base deck. I have not like sideboarded against them or anything. So like, I think there are tools in both Umbra and Fire that you can leverage, and Exalted that you can leverage against Merlin. You Royal Inquisition them, and you take their fireball.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of tools, and we've seen we saw a couple of decks, or like Pasta that we mentioned is when we first saw this deck a couple of weeks ago, like right when the format came out.
Right.
But people have been experimenting with a lot of the tools that CL has, and he feels sort of closer to something like Tristan in that regard. Obviously, all his tools are not wind cards, which makes them a little bit weaker. But there are a lot of tools that he got in Umbra specifically. Obviously, we mentioned Deer being a problem, but he does get a 1-cost Excalibur in Nocturne's Oblivion, which is pretty crazy. We've seen some of these decks more lately playing Grim Pastiche, which is a way to like flashback cards out of your omens, which is pretty cool.
I've seen a lot of people talk about that card. And they've talked about being able to copy attacks. I don't think you can do that because it says
I think it's a non-skill
action.
action card, but it does copy like Nocturne's Oblivion.
Yeah, you can copy Nocturne's Oblivion, or I think what they're doing is copying a stupid card.
Yeah, you can copy Ryle. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
copy target non-skill action omen.
Yeah. So you can't actually like use it for an attack, which I've seen a few people mention it in the past, where like you just copy the attack. No, you can't do that. But like you said, you can copy Ryle, you can copy Nocturne's Oblivion, you can copy a lot of the utility cards that CL is using.
Yeah, and it allows you to play this like really thin package, I think is why they've opted to playing so many cards of Grim Pastiche, where it sort of opts like a sort of tutoring effect, where they're like playing 2 copies of Vortex and 2 copies of Nocturne's Oblivion and 1 copy of Umbracide or whatever, and you churn through your deck so fast because you're a Ryle deck, obviously, that any of these tools that you need, you just have to like keep a Grim Pastiche, omen the card that you want, and then you can make a copy of it. You can get your Vortex out of your graveyard and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool. I think it's a sweet deck and has a lot of options, has a lot of play to it as well, which I think
I was
really
actually
cool.
like super down on Grim Pastiche, but I've come around on it.
Yeah.
I think the card is very good.
I think it's pretty sweet. Yeah, toolboxes are nice, and it's it seems sort of few and far between that we get to have a toolbox deck because there are so few tutors and Grand Archive tutors. Sorry, we used to play another game. Refer to cards that search your deck, and so back in the old Boomer days, it was basically only Luxera's map that could search your deck, and so we were so used to decks have to be built with specifically consistency in mind. Like, if you want to see this card, you have to play 4 copies of it, and slowly over time, we've been getting more of ththese cards, like Grim Pastiche or like Chamber of Reflections, which we'll talk about a little bit later, that do search cards out of your deck and give you a way to build a toolbox, which I think is really cool. We even saw this a little bit with Slimes when Slimes was around. I guess we're also going to talk about that today. Where they have the ways to not search their deck, but like look at their top 5 and grab
or 10 or whatever.
Grab the individual card that they need. So this is so far for me, even though I'm not a CL player, the shining hope through this format that like Ryle is a good card. Obviously Ryle's a good card. That's not what I mean. Just like Ryle does enable cool things for Grand Archive. It is not just the Merlin in Soul enabler. Like, I don't want to... If we're getting into a level 3 format and we're like, guys, we finally made level 3 decks good. And they're like, it's the level 3 decks that you played against 3 years ago. I'm like, just stop it. So I'm very excited that, CL's seeing some success. There is some level 3 stuff that you can do that is obviously enabled by Ryle because that card is just so absurd.
Yeah. So turns out that... Grand Archive can print good champions on sets.
He's good, yeah, I think. And we've seen a little bit less of it. We're not talking about her today. We were requested by Lineage Break Sean to not talk about Astra Diana, because it's so meta breaking and he doesn't want people to know about it. But I think Diana is in that same way. We haven't seen her as much as we've seen CL, but I do think that she has a power to her that just has to be sort of figured out. And I think that one's a little bit harder.
I think I mentioned it last week when we were talking about her, but I think her deck is a little bit harder because it's so decision dense.
Right.
Like every action you're making is so important for your next 3 turns. Right. So like, because you're glimpsing so many cards off the top of your deck and you have to set up your turn, you have to know how many Aether Charges you need to load.
Right.
You need to know how many Aether Charges you need to leave on top of your deck and what cards you need to leave on the top of your deck in what order.
Yeah, it is super hard to play for sure. Sort of, I guess that's the Astra thing, but Ari or whatever, usually just you see the bolt, you cast it. Like your decisions aren't that hard. It's like all of the rest of the cards go to the bottom of the deck. Oh, you saw the bolt, you cast it. But in Diana, because you do get the rest of your glimpse, like you said, you do have to really be cognizant of where you put those cards. And notably, something that I had struggled with all the way back in ALC, and Diana has to struggle with now as well. You don't have a shuffle in your deck, which is something that is like really important to Ari players, that they have a shuffle with Polaris. But Diana does not get a shuffle. So any cards that you put to the bottom of your deck, you will just not see that game. And so you really do have to weigh that as well.
I think that's a little bit different, right? Because for Diana, she can just hit an ally for like 40 and just glimpse her whole deck and pitch stack it. Right?
Yeah, sure, I guess so. Yeah.
Right, like because there are turns where you're like, I'll hit you for 23.
Right. I just mean like I played a game with Diana a couple of days ago where I opened my hand and we're the build that we're working on is playing a Glimpse Spirit, and I had like 5 Aether Charges in it, Astra ones, and I was like, well, I can't keep these, and I put them all at the bottom, but like there's only 16 in my deck. I just turned my deck that has 16 charges into a deck that only has 11, and that does really matter. So I think it will take some time. It's sort of like there's a meter, you guys got to think about this like imperceptible meter of the way that they design Grand Archive champions, where usually, with some exceptions in a certain element, they assign power to fragility is what it feels like. And so I think Diana is really powerful and probably more powerful than CL if she's doing all of her things correctly. But that's if everything is working out for her, if your opponent hasn't interacted with you, et cetera, where like CL just gets this raw power all the time that is very hard for you to interact with. So, you have that scale. And so I think obviously we're seeing CL see some more success in the early format because it's easier to put him into a deck just because he is so like baseline powerful.
Right.
Where Diana, everything has to go right for you to hit that power level, which is probably higher, but is fragile to interaction.
Right. She's a very, very casino feeling.
Yeah.
Speaking of, like, I was playing, testing with LB Sean the other day, and he hit me for like 9 or something.
Yeah.
And then my follow-up turn was just, well, I'll just cast the Smashing Force and kill your...
Yeah, blow up your Aether Wing. And it's like, well,
and I was like,
game's over.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's hard. I wouldn't counter out yet, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I would count CL in. So,
yeah.
We did like a tier list last week. I don't want to like put things into tiers again. I want to give us a simple, yes, no, yay, nay. Do we think that the Fire Umbra Spectre CL deck is a real deck?
You're asking the wrong person. Yeah. I'm biased. Yes.
He does. I do as well, though.
I've been playing that deck for a while. I think that deck is very cool.
Yeah.
I probably need to tweak my numbers because, now that I'm seeing other people play the list, I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense.
Well, that's the cool part, right? Like, it feels like there is a tweaking that can happen.
Right.
And that isn't always the case.
Right.
Like Diana, we won't dwell on her, but like that's a deck that's very hard to tweak. Right. You need these cards in your deck. They take up X amount of slots, whereas, the CL decks get to be a little bit more flavor to taste. But yes, I agree. I do think the deck is pretty good. And I think maybe the direction that Umbra CL is supposed to go in, and I personally think probably the direction that CL is supposed to go in is one of these sort of Umbra strategies. I think he really does have a lot of power at level 3, and so we'll talk about Jason May and his monstrosity a little bit later. But I do think that the Umbra CL decks are looking pretty good. Yeah, don't worry, Jason. Well, we have your deck last on the docket, of course, because that's the one that everyone's excited to talk about. So we'll get there. But before we get there, there's a couple of other decks that we want to talk about. Steven, any jump into your mind? We got a short list.
Yeah, we got a short one. I think we need to honorable mention this deck.
Yeah.
Because it is probably the longest deck name
I've
ever seen in my entire life, and the deck is overcooked.
Yeah.
It went 3-3.
Sure. It's okay.
I think it was the
Winnicase?
The Winnicase.
Yeah.
It went 3-3.
It's okay. It's a real tournament.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
But God, this person overcooked this deck, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
The deck name. Hold on, let me get a sip of water so I can
clear the throat.
Yeah. The deck name is Fire Spectre Crux Byaku Goja Merlin.
Yep.
Wow, what a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a Merlin deck. When you look at the main deck, it's a Merlin deck, and so that's why it's on our honorable mention list. But there is a little bit of a spice to it. Obviously, they're playing Goja level 1 to get Byakko, or your fabled Emerald Fatestone, which gives you a one-time use, pay for, rest it, suppress something.
Right.
And so we have a local, my partner at Webway Games, who was playing this deck last season, actually, or at least close to it. And it's basically used to like flicker your dungeon guide. So like you play dungeon guide, you flicker your dungeon guide, you go down to like 4 influence, but you're Merlin on turn 2.
Right.
And to be fair, all credit to the chef at work here, with the introduction of Ryle, it makes it a lot easier to say I'll just vomit 5 influence because you drew so many goddamn cards off of your liminal guides and your Ryle the Abysses. So it is, I think I would agree, maybe a little bit overcooked. You can get a certain amount of leeway by just playing Merlin. Like I would challenge you, viewer at home, if you're playing Merlin, see how many bad cards you can put into it. it's a surprising number of bad cards that you can sneak into your Merlin deck just because her like floor is so high that you could probably get away with a couple of spicy 1-ofs, 2-ofs, whatever, and I think that's sort of what we see with this Byakko deck is it's still a Merlin deck at the end of the day, so it's still going to be able to do the Merlin things. Steven.
Yes, me.
We also have to give a more reasonable shout out, but depends how long you guys have been playing Grand Archive. There was a couple of slime decks that did pretty well this season or this weekend.
Yeah,
which it's like kind of a shock. We haven't seen slimes in what three formats, even in the room, let alone like doing okay.
So they were in the room and they were doing fine.
Yeah,
but that was before February,
right?
And then February we got the ban of Icebound Slam, Baby Gray Slime,
right?
Something else?
No, just those two.
Just those two.
Yeah.
And since then,
nowhere.
Not a single
Baby Silver Slime, the bad card.
Yeah, I've witnessed one of our locals play slimes to go 0-3 at our local. Yeah, it's not great.
It's not great. So I am a little bit shocked to see it, and I wonder why that is. We saw one, I believe it was one Norm Slimes deck was in the day 2 cut for Quicksilver Cup, and then there was a Serene Fire Slimes player that I believe was in the Winna case. It might have been in Yeti that week as well. But again, not decks that are like going 4-0. They're sort of hovering around those top tables, but enough that it is, maybe worth mentioning that they are doing okay. And I think maybe it's just the power of so many of these decks being low to the ground, just dying to a single Storm Slime, right? Like that has to be it. I assume that the Fire Serene deck was, again, leveraging Rile the Abyss, and that's why they're playing Serene. And again, you can get away with a lot of murder if you're playing Rile the Abyss. Slime player got 17th place. Yeah, that's what chat says for Quicksilver Cup, and I believe it was cut to 19. So they made day 2 at a fairly large tournament and one that has quite a lot of prize support on the line. So there were some real killers there. So
looking at the list, it's it's pretty just your standard Sylvie slime.
Yeah, it looks like it's like right out of 2 years ago or whatever.
Right.
Right? Like they replaced Silver Slime with Baby Gray. I looked at the list and I was like, oh, they playing any new cards? They're like, they're not. It's just like I took slimes to this event and it went okay.
Yeah. There is a big there's a big elephant card in the room.
Yes.
And I think into a aggro meta.
Yeah.
Seeing it resurface from people's collections makes some of these strategies a little bit more like viable.
Advent of the Stormcaller.
No. Resolute Stand.
Yeah, lots of Resolute Stands.
Yeah. Resolute Stand makes the Fire aggro matchup extremely hard for them.
Right.
Especially if you can either get to level 2 first and be able to cast it for free, or just hold up the influence for it.
Yeah.
Because if you get into a Xander turn and they go to kill you and you're like Resolute Stand, they're like, well, I've already thrown the dagger.
Yeah, and so maybe Slimes is sort of in that CL place. I don't think power level wise. I just mean that it is a later game deck, but will be better into the aggro decks because it has a very quick kill once they get there, right? It's like Sylvie goes to level 3, they probably just kill you, especially if you're an aggro deck, you're at 19 life, 20 life, whatever.
You just
die.
I've played into it because I remember the Slime Summer.
Yeah.
If they resolve a Luster Slime against an aggro deck,
you just can't
you
beat
just
it.
can't win.
Right.
Like you've lost the game,
right.
Especially if they have the Resolute Stand because
right.
they like try to go and you're like
Resolute Stand might slime or whatever.
Right,
you
like,
need exactly smoke bombs to get any chance to get through it.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe that's why, and maybe it was a reasonable choice. I think probably this deck still sucks.
I would agree. I'm not here defending.
Well,
Slimes,
that's what we're doing, right? We want to talk about these decks that were like, maybe a little bit out of left field and say,
right.
Hey, is this like sort of something you should consider? Like, I know if you're, the TCG guys, you're, K-Ben or Terry or Isaac, whatever, you're not taking Slimes to Ascent Boston. And I'm not even necessarily saying that you out there should take Slimes to Ascent Boston, but it's like, should I consider this as a choice? Because there is a certain there's a certain advantage to playing something that is off meta, these sort of rogue decks, especially if they combat the meta in a particular way that is maybe unexpected. And that's obviously why we're talking about them today. But I don't think Slimes is one of those.
I think it's not for us.
Mm.
But if you were at home, you're sitting there and you are like, I am a slime player. I love playing slimes. I think you can do all right in this meta. Just don't expect, the world.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I said, you resolve a lustrous slime against an ally's player, you're going to kill that person.
Right.
Like, they're not going to get rid of that.
And there's some play to it, according to Limelight, when Jason May in chat. They had a pretty tough time with their deck, getting their Orb of Sealing interacted with. Like, Slimes does have tools. It is, again, as we mentioned earlier, one of those toolbox decks. And so if your tools line up, it could be cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give a nay to Slimes. You should not play Slimes at Ascent Boston. Are you on the nay train?
I'm on the nay unless you are a Slimes player.
Unless you're a Slimes player. Yeah, well, we want to be clear, right? And we appreciate your viewership, and we are glad to be here with you. Steve and I here are what you call Grand Archive enjoyers, and we want you to enjoy your time playing Grand Archive. If you want to win Ascent Boston, go find some Ryle pile and do your best to out Merlin all the other Merlin players. But if you just want to, play your deck and enjoy it, I think that's important too. But we will never be the people that tell you to play your unplayable pile of trash. You should probably play a deck that is decent, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the best deck. So if you are a Slimes player, enjoy it. Is Shadow Strike Tristan still viable for Ascent? 100%. That deck's insane. And I think probably the best deck in the room, if you can pilot it, which is a tall order. It's a very hard deck to play correctly. So, Steven.
That's me.
What else we got on the list? We have that one deck at the end. Am I missing one?
It's your deck.
Oh, right.
It's your deck.
Yeah.
We got to talk about that
Right.
Who was that chef?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Fruitcake that was playing Ari Sana this weekend. Shout out to you, King. This will be a short one. They did pretty well. Understandable, I think they got like 12th. I think this was at the Winnet case. And they got like 12th place or something. They did okay. And again, sort of leaning in the more honorable mention side, similar to that Byakko Guoja deck. This is mostly a Windari deck. And we talked about Windari last week. I am pretty down on Arisana. I think she's having a bit of a tough season. But there is, this innovation. I'm going to play it tonight at Locals, so I will give you guys the full report afterwards. But in a world of Ryle the Abyss, where everyone is playing Ryle, this genius, the problem with Ari is you sort of have to play Wind. 3 Visits is the only good card in your deck. Fertile Grounds, maybe second place. Beseech the Winds, maybe third place. You have to play all of these cards. They are integral for you to play the game at all, as Ari. But that means that you lose access to Ryle the Abyss. You can't play a Ryle deck. You could play Ryle Ari. It just feels way worse because you lose all of your best cards. And so this genius is playing, that sounded derogatory, this actual chef is playing a Windari deck, but they're choosing to play Looking Glass as their Divine Relic. And that is not really for any of the things in their material deck. They are playing a copy of Consumption Ring, but the Looking Glass is so that they can play Chamber of Reflection, which is an Aster card, but a distortion. So if you're playing the Looking Glass, you can play it without its elemental requirement. To search for a copy of Gloamspire Black Market, which is a way for you to build influence against the Ryle decks because you will always have less influence than them, and they will probably always have more than 7. So it becomes just a one-sided draw an extra card every turn. And I think that sounds pretty good. And they did okay with it.
I have a water Tony domains deck.
Yeah, I think Chamber is really cool.
That I've put Chamber into.
Yeah.
And after you posted that list, I think it was you that posted the list.
Yeah.
I went and I grabbed a copy of Gloamspire.
Yeah.
And I slotted it into my water deck because I was like, I'm already we're already cooking in that deck because I'm already playing Dawn of
deck's sick.
I'm already playing Dawn of Ashes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, now I could just play the fire one.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
And again, it's what we talked about earlier is the sort of toolbox nature that you get when you play Chamber of Reflections, which is something that is really powerful. And if you can leverage that, it's like kind of a big deal. Obviously, this Ari deck is not going to be leveraging the toolbox aspect. She's just getting a Gloamspire. But it does allow you to have a like pretty powerful card outside of your color identity. I don't know that this is enough to save Ari this format, but I'm
like
cool.
I think of all of I love CL and I love all his cards, but I think the card that I was down on when I first saw it, but have now found the most joy in playing, is Chamber of Reflections.
Yeah,
it does so many cool things.
Yeah,
like there was a game where I was playing the Water Domains Tony deck where I just like left it up and then cracked it and got a what is that siegeable water domain? Chu-Chang.
Yeah.
And I put it into play in response to their Materialize.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, go ahead. Do you want to remove a float?
you can do lots of bizarre stuff. Yeah, you can like on their turn grab a Dawn of Ashes, which is really cool. You can grab your Crustallian Ruins if they play an ally and they're don't have any resources, so it comes in rested. There is some cool stuff. Nobody's done anything with that deck yet, Steven. So maybe that could be you. You gotta play a Yeti, get first place or whatever with your cool domain.
That domain deck is like that's like the meme deck that I play.
I think that deck kind of cooks. That's my hot take. That I think that one is buildable.
So I did build it and I did play it and I put out I had 7 domains in play.
Yeah, it's good.
But I'm not an Assemble the Ancients deck.
Sure. You're like an Archon Broadsword deck, right? Oh, I guess those don't count domains. They only count tokens.
Correct. I'm a Smash with Obelisk deck.
Yeah, well.
That's what my deck does.
Yeah, well, that might be a little bit too cooked. I don't know. We'll see. But I will play Windari tonight, and I will let you guys know how it feels. I assume I know it's a burning hot take, that it will probably feel better. You'll draw some cards. You will still die to Ryle, I think. But you will draw some cards, and that'll be cool. And so I'm going to try it out, and it'll be neat. But I don't know. I'm giving Windari a nay until the further notice.
I have to give it an A. I have to give it an A because me and you played a game.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yep.
And I
recently
crushed you with Wind Allies.
True.
I've never once beat an Ari deck with Wind Allies.
Shouldn't happen.
And I there was no agency. You had no agency.
Yeah.
You just didn't have enough to kill me.
Mm.
I just can't. I can't think that she's good right now.
I don't know. She's having a tough time. Poro's playing Water Tony tonight. That's pretty cool, man. If you want any tips, feel free to DM Steve. He's an accomplished Water Tony player for new players out there. So
yeah. My accomplishment is that I missed the first nationals by 1 match.
You were playing Water Tony though, right?
I was playing Water Tony. Yeah.
Back in the old days, that was ALC format. That was before MRC.
Yep.
Man, crazy times. Crazy times. So, chat. We still have some things on the docket. We still have some Ascent predictions to do, but. Yes, we did not bait you. Yes, the thumbnail is here for a reason. Yes, we do want to talk about this deck. And the reason why we saved it for the end, and we kept Jason May awake long enough to hear us roast this deck, is I think it has performed the best. One copy of this deck made day 2 at the Quicksilver Cup, but notably, there was a weekly Yeti literally yesterday, ended last night, where Worlds competitor Steve-O was playing this deck to a 3-1 finish, pretty good as well, and an accomplished player playing it quite well.
I don't think a better time, because we have the man himself in the room.
Yeah, true.
And I can voice my opinions.
So first of all, Steven, what deck are we talking about?
We are talking about Fire Spectre, Oblation combo with Advent of the Stormcaller.
So for anyone that is not aware, before I let Steve go on his rant about this deck, there is a card in CL. It's called Baleful Oblation. It is a 2-cost Umbra card. And it says, deal X damage to all units except your champion, where X is equal to the the lowest reserve cost of omens you control. The Creative Shock boys have created a combo deck that plays Baleful Oblation with the intent that the only card with a cost in your omens is Advent of the Stormcaller, an old boomer card from DOA, because it is the highest cost in the game. It has 15 cost. So you can use Orb of Sealing, which is a material deck card that turns cards in your banish face down, to turn all of the cost off of your omens. So the only omen that you have that has a cost is Advent of the Stormcaller. And then you play Baleful Oblation, which costs 3. Sorry, my brain bad. To deal 15 damage to their board and to their head, which is pretty good. 3 cost, 15 damage is solid. They're also playing Extorting Blackjack, which is an attack for 2, which becomes an attack for 12 if you have exactly 21 cost in your omens. Obviously, if you take Advent of the Stormcaller and any 2/3 costs, you have 21, and that is pretty easy to do for this deck, in theory. So, this is sort of the talk of the town, the deck of the weekend. Steven, our resident CL player.
This deck is such a meme. I can't believe you guys made this deck. I'm so mad because this was like a meme deck. I heard people behind me talking about it at Worlds, because we saw the Oblation at Worlds, and they were talking about it behind me. They're like, oh, you could do this, it'd be so cool. I'm like, yeah, but it's probably not good. And then lo and behold, the first event, Jason May and company bring this pile of trash. What's just no one playing Fracturize for your seal? For your orb? Like, what? I guess not, because it's not a fire, like, it's not water meta. Yeah. So, like, holy. I was like, there's no way. Oh, doesn't make them leave.
Yeah, Fracturize doesn't work. Reduce does, though.
Reduce does, yeah.
And people are playing Reduce Ash.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you get my gist. Like, I was removing no one interacted with your orb.
Yeah.
But God, I hate it. I hate it. Mostly because I just sold my Advent of the Stormcaller.
Has it spiked? I haven't checked the TCG
I haven't
price.
either, but like
$20.
Holy, like, come on. Do I have to rebuy this card because people are playing it?
I think this deck is sick.
I hate it. I think the thing that I hate the most is that I've been trying to cook like an actual CL deck since forever. And then all of a sudden, all of the people in my store are talking about how cool CL is. I'm like, you fucking bandwagon people.
Keep sending Steve lists of people playing this Oblation deck. We're like, Steve, check out this cool CL deck. And it's just somebody playing this Oblation combo deck.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's been a really fun week.
It's not for me.
I think this deck's super cool. Listen, I have to be Mr. Tempered Opinion or whatever. I do think this deck is incredibly cool, and the ceiling of this deck is extremely high. Like, they get to like level 3, like, turn 3 or whatever. They're a Dungeon Guide deck, a Rile deck like anybody else. And they can just like do 15 damage on turn 3 and then do another 18 on turn 2, on turn 4, pretty reasonably. However, this is assuming that your opponent doesn't interact with your hideous meme combo. And I think even Jason said this. They did a video. If you guys want to hear Creative Shock talk about this deck, they did like a 40-minute long discussion about this deck, like right when Quicksilver Cup was happening. So make sure to go check that out. But I think even Jason said this in that video that like this deck is only a deck because people don't know it exists, and it is like the true definition of a rogue deck that people didn't see coming. It'll steal some games, but like this is not going to be a meta deck that sort of stands the test of time, unless there's like this perfect storm, right? Where like if people start playing it, it dies. It's like the more people that play it, the worse this deck gets, right? But if you like get into that sweet spot where you are Jason and you're the only person playing this deck, you probably can steal some games because it does have, again, like I said, a really high ceiling. Like it does do a shit ton of damage.
Yeah. And I guess if like Jason said in our chat here, if you just only omen just Advent of the Stormcaller,
it's fine, right?
You just kill people.
Yeah. Like you don't even have to do the Orb of Sealing thing if you think it's going to be interacted with. You're just like, I won't omen anything else. Right. I'll just play this Baleful Oblation for 15, and then after that, I'll omen 2 random 3 costs, and then I can blackjack you. And it is really hard for them. Like nobody's playing Orb of Sealing as a combative tool.
Right.
It's really hard for them to interact with it. But again, if people were playing this deck, you would play Orb of Sealing in your deck to just be like, well, I'll flip over your Advent. They're like, oh, okay, my deck doesn't work anymore. So yeah, I think it's in a really interesting spot. I think this is sort of the perfect encapsulation of your like off meta rogue deck, right? Where it's like, it's okay if people aren't expecting it and you get to catch people with their pants down.
Right.
But if anyone ever expects you to play this deck, you just like you lose in deck building or sideboarding or whatever. Just like the game ends for you. So.
Yeah, and I can't imagine any Tristan player would ever lose to this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In cap pretty good. Yeah. You only get one Spell Ward Scepter, it turns out. Yeah, and in cap's pretty strong. So strong that even non-assassin decks sometimes find room for in cap jammed into their deck because they have so much influence after their Riley Abysses. So, Steven.
Yeah.
Yay or nay on the Baleful Oblation combo deck?
Yay.
Yay!
I hate it. I will say yay, though, because it is CL, and I'm biased. And it, at the end of the day, it is a very cute and silly combo.
Yeah.
And I love cute and silly.
Oh, yeah, I think this deck's sick. 100% yay. Like, I think you could play this deck. I'm not saying you're going to win, but I think you could play this deck. Especially at, like, a local level. Sure. But like, you take this to Ascent, I'm saying that you are not 100% to not make day 2. You are 100% to not win. There's no way this deck's winning the tournament. But you could sneak into day 2. Like, I'm not saying that's impossible.
Yeah.
So
I won't be playing it. I much I much prefer the value engine of the previous the life gain.
Yeah. And to be fair, I do think that the Spectre deck is better. If you're going to play Umbra CL, I think that the Spectre deck has obviously a less explosive game plan, but it's way more realistic.
Just play one
into
of
a
each.
feel. Yeah.
Just play one of each in every deck.
I think Baleful Oblation is just like kind of a crazy card in general.
Yeah. I'll play a 48. I'll play a 48 card deck or a 58 card deck.
58 card deck, the spicy one of Advent.
Sometimes you just kill
the shout out to Creative Shock. You get Jason to sign it.
Yeah.
Could be cool.
And then you cool. And really, if you played the one of Oblation, you're playing like 3 Oblations because you're probably playing 2 Grim Pastiche.
Grim Pastiche, yeah. And you're playing 3 Advent of the Stormcallers. You can Grim Pastiche or Advent of the Stormcaller.
Yeah.
You get to resolve it.
You do. It's kind of crazy.
It doesn't do anything. You go to the level, you like reveal 3 cards, you're like, I'll banish none. Go ahead. So, chat, thank you for sticking with us talking about some cursed rogue decks. We love your cursed decks, and of course, if you have any cursed decks that you want us to talk about on the show, let us know. Send me your lists, and we'll chat about them. But we are very excited. Hopefully, we see some of these decks that you're not necessarily expecting in Ascent Boston, and I am still holding on to the hope that there is some deck hidden out there that people are, saving up for Ascent Boston that they don't want to show the secret sauce for that, takes the tournament by storm.
I do also want to point out, because it's been mentioned in chat here, Heavenly Guide,
crazy right now.
Stock's huge right now.
It's really good.
It went from $5 to $30 overnight.
That's what happens, man, when you walk into a level 3 format. There's so many level 3 decks that Heavenly Guide is actually good. Yeah. And it's the first time since its release that level 3 decks have been good. There was a format like right before HVN, end of MRC, where level 3 decks were good. That was like the Luxem Umbra Tristan format for like First Worlds as well. But then we sort of went into this low to the ground water tempo decks for ever, and we got Heavenly Guide, which is an extremely strong card, but has sort of just been sitting in people's binders. So I'm glad to see HG making an appearance. Shout out to any of our Worlds players who are sitting on a absolute dragon's hoard of money with those Heavenly Guide promos.
I had 30 of them.
The 30 Worlds promos?
No. I thought you were talking about regular, and then you said promo.
No. You had 30 Heavenly Guides?
No, I didn't. But someone probably did.
I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure all those psychos out there have a million of them. Yeah, I think Steve's got all of the World's promos. He's sitting on them right now. I'm sitting on like a goose. That's going to be the thumbnail right
there. You'll have to clip it because I won't.
I will, for sure. So, now that we have that out of the way, and we, of course, have Ascent Boston next weekend. Hopefully, we will see you there. We will, of course, both be in attendance, and we hope that you are playing a sweet deck. But, Steven,
that's
chat.
Me. That's them.
The live show. One of our favorite things for Grand Archive, as we mentioned earlier, we are Grand Archive enjoyers. That is what we call ourselves, because we just enjoy Grand Archive. And my favorite part, one of Steven's favorite parts of the event, is the closing ceremony. We get all of the info for the future of Grand Archive. We get, spicy leaks and things, of course. We're podcasters. We want to talk about stuff, and news is fun to talk about, and we're always very excited for our closing presentation. And so,
usually in the front row.
True. Steven.
That's me.
What do you think we're going to see in Boston at the closing ceremony for the future of Grand Archive trading card game, Western style game design with anime style art?
I think
TM.
That we are going to see, at very least, champions for the Recos. Champions for the Recos. True. I think we'll know what those are. I think, at the very least, we're probably going to get a little bit more information on a format called Pantheon.
Ooh.
Maybe. I don't know. I would like a little bit more information on Pantheon. Okay. That one is more dubious. I think in 99% we get the Recos.
Yeah.
Maybe not text, because I believe in Toronto we didn't get text. We just got the art. But I think that we'll get the Recos.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
And I think if they love us enough, maybe a little bit of Phantom Arc.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe just some art.
Well, what I think, Steven, I think you are, it's going to be a short segment because I think we're very much on the same page.
But we can just talk about it.
But the history says, and so here's the problem. The developers, we love you. They watch the show. Poros in chat. Hi, Travis. They could change this despite me, but history says that almost, and in fact, I think literally every time that a new set comes out, and this is since basically the dawn of time, because they did this at Ascent Houston. Yeah. And Ascent Houston was
the first one.
Yes, but it was what? A month after FTC?
Yes.
It was like very close after FTC.
Yes.
So I think with 100% accuracy, every single time a new set comes out, at the first Ascent, after that new set comes out, we get the product sheet for the next set. And so at Worlds, they announced Phantom Monarchs, and this is similar to at last year's Worlds, they announced Mortal Ambition, but this was before the set came out. Mm-hmm. In our case, before DTR. In last year's Worlds, before MRC came out. And then the following event, after the set released, we got the product sheet. This happened in Toronto. As you mentioned, that was 2 weeks after A and B came out. We got the product sheet for HVN. It happens every single time. So I think 100% we're going to get the product sheet for Phantom Monarchs, which of course will come with some art, hopefully some lore. Please. But usually we get a blurb from Bell on the product sheet to tell us a little bit about the lore. And then as we got in Toronto, we got the announcement of the Recollection decks. And in Toronto, they gave us a champion name, class element. We won't obviously get their text. It's far too soon for that. And especially in a world where Phantom Monarchs is pretty far out. Far out, man. It's 4 months from now.
Yeah.
It's pretty far from now. I think we will just get the champions and the elements. I think. We gotta drill down so that we have things to clip. Alice, Cleric, Umbra, Merlin, Assassin, Crux. That's what I think. I don't even think she's going to be a mage. I think she's going to be straight assassin. For our Reco decks.
I would like to disagree with you.
Okay.
I would like to agree with you. Alice, Cleric, Umbra. That one I agree with.
It has to be.
Merlin? That bitch is in the main set.
Yeah.
Reco?
Mordred.
Warrior. Neos.
But Neos isn't even in the block.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be Crux or Astra or Umbra.
Then, never mind. It is Mordred.
You can be Crux. Yeah.
It is
Crux Mordred?
But I do... I'm will die on this hill.
Yeah.
Clip this all you want. Will say it till I'm blue in the face. There was a reason why Mordred was on the main stage.
Yeah, we've talked about this several times now.
There was a reason why Mordred was on the main stage with the other three.
He got a new fit. You know, like I agree.
I can't live in a world where they make the decision.
It's really funny though.
I just can't. I just don't understand. It was Ciel, Diana, and Merlin.
Yeah.
And then Mordred. I can't live in a world where that wasn't 100%.
It is really funny.
100% like on purpose.
I hope. Please, I beg you, if you are watching the show, whoever has information about who decided to move that banner, because that's the part that's crazy. Mordred was hanging in the regular ballroom, and then they moved him to the main stage. Please, obviously after the recos are announced and we know the next set or whatever, please, if you have that information about why that was moved, please tell us. I want to know so bad, because I hope it's just like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about it. I needed to put something on the stage, so I chose Mordred. And it'd be so funny.
Dude, I can't imagine that it's since I saw that, my mind has literally we have a filmed episode we did of the show that is scuffed and we'll never see the light of day.
We didn't get the audio. Travis was on it.
Yeah, someone forgot to push the button.
Yeah, that's me. This is long.
However, we talked for like 15 minutes about literally pointing at it. It was like, Mordred is right there. Why is he on the stage?
I might still have that footage. I'll see if I can find the footage for you guys, and I'll post it on Twitter or something of us pointing at the Mordred behind us. No audio, obviously, but
surely when they do announce the Mordred Reco deck, that is the thumbnail.
Yeah,
of us.
true.
We're just pointing it at it. Like, come on.
So yeah, we'll see. I sort of agree. I think Merlin's up in the air. I think we are 100% going to get Merlin, but I think it is equally as likely that she is a Reco deck than she is a single champion in the main set. It's just, it depends what they want to do with her. It's really hard with her current lineage to give her a single champion, and if you're giving her more than a single champion, I assume she just goes into a Reco deck. But they could possibly just give her a level 1. And it doesn't like really affect her that much, but I think that people would be like kind of disappointed with that. I wouldn't, because I hate that bitch, but like I can understand.
I'm kind of under the impression that like I'd be okay with a for level 1 and level 3, and then just keep her level 2.
Because I think level 2 is really cool.
I think it's really strong.
And
but like it kind of goes against like what you were saying. Like,
yeah.
You don't print Assassin Merlin 1, Mage Merlin Assassin Merlin 3.
Right.
You would have to print the full new
Yeah, maybe.
Lineage,
I think it is kind of cool. Obviously, dual classes is like pretty busted. There is a reason why Merlin is good. It's because the Crux cards are strong, but it's also because she's dual typed, and dual type is pretty good. She gets to play Devastating Blow and Fireball, and that is pretty strong. So I would be happy to see them move away from that, and I think it is cool to give her a dual typing in the fact that she is a mage at level 2 and a different class at level 3. I think does create a like interesting play pattern. They might just give her 2 classes anyways, but I think if that is the case, they can do that. You know, give her a level 1. She's only mage at level 2. She goes back to being assassin at level 3. Whatever. Maybe she's only mage at level 1 as well. Maybe it's mage, and then assassin at level 3. I don't know. But I think it goes without saying that we will see Merlin in some form or another. And I think it'll be pretty clear. I would be shocked if they didn't tell us. Like, if they announced the Recollection decks and they're like, it's Alice and it's Mordred, I'm sure that they will mention Merlin. And be like, and, you know, maybe they show us some art or whatever, and Merlin's getting a new champion, and then we all go, oh my god. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked on that front. In regards to Pantheon, Steven, yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. The only caveat that I was going to mention it as well, is that we have so many events between now and then, and so they might be saving like a big Pantheon announcement for something like Akihabara, which is way closer to release and obviously going to be a huge event, and so that would be a cool place to announce it. But I also sort of assume that most of the announcements at something like Akihabara are going to be very SEA focused. It's going to be like, here are all these new collaborations we're doing with, you know, X, Y, or Z that you are excited about because you're from SEA, or here are all the new SEA events we're doing. You know, here's some information about World Singapore because it's closer, right? So I don't know. We might get the Pantheon at a little bit more of a US-based event like Boston. We could also see it at Niagara Falls. I think we will see sooner rather than later. I hope we also get information on the sim that they're working on.
Yes.
Lots and lots of people have been asking me about that. But the only difference between Pantheon and the sim that they announced, Sandbox, I believe it's called. Pantheon, they gave us a date. Not a date, but a range.
Right.
The sim, they didn't.
Right.
But I don't know anything about game dev, but like they're making a simulator for Grand Archive, but without a rules engine. And I assume that's pretty easy. So like I assume it doesn't take them very much time. The rules engine is always the hard part, surely. So like it could feasibly be ready anytime, I think. It depends how much, you know, man hours they're committing to development. So those are the things on the docket, of course. But there is always the chance for, I don't know, other stuff.
Yeah.
Proxy's Vault.
Proxy's Vault.
Ban list.
I'm sure we'll get a ban list announcement.
Yeah, that is the new norm now as well, right? We get the ban list announcement, the closing presentation of the event, because it's usually the Monday of.
Right.
They ban Ryle.
That would be insane. I don't think that's coming.
No, it's not that good,
I think other cards deserve to go on the watch list, though.
I think you should put Ryle on the watch list, but I think it's a healthy enough card. I understand the sort of hole that it's, or I guess hole is the wrong word. I understand the presence that it's making in the metagame, but it is important that if you're a Lost in Thought gamer, you love your Lost in Thoughts. You don't play a water deck without Lost in Thought. They don't exist. If you're a Ryle gamer, there is a real subsection of the fire decks that do not play Ryle. Like Ryle is for the level 3 decks. And so I think, and as a result, has made level 3 decks playable this format, which is better than the last format in you know, that regard. So I think in that way it's kind of healthy. It's just unfortunate that it's a fire card, and so it locks the other elements out of having that same sort of power. So
I think it would be too strong if you made it a norm card, though.
Yeah, surely. Yeah. I agree. All right, Steven.
That's me.
Anything else that we're missing?
I don't think so.
Chat, do you have any predictions for the Grand Archive Ascent Boston closing presentations? Let us know. While you let us know and while you ponder that thought, I wanted to remind you all that A, You're the best. Thank you for watching. We very much appreciate it. We've had some great viewership for the new format of the live show, and we would love to keep that. Of course, we are trying our very best to get into that creator program, and we've seen really great success with our new format, so we really do appreciate you guys for watching. If you want to catch the show, you can do so every Friday, sort of, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Asterisk.
We will not be here next week because we will be in Boston, and so you guys can see us there in Boston, and then we will, of course, be back the next week to talk all about that closing presentation and all about the winner of Ascent Boston, Steven. Who do you think wins Boston?
Who or what?
Well, both. How about that? What's easier? Who's harder?
No, who's easier for me?
Oh, okay.
It's my boy Perfy.
Perfy!
My boy Perfy gonna come in here and win Boston.
Okay.
I love that guy.
What's he playing?
Some sort of Fire Ryle deck, probably.
Yeah.
Knowing him, Fire Merlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what do I think is gonna win?
Mm-hmm.
Like deck-wise?
Yeah.
Merlin or Tristan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to make some, like, insane prediction.
Just like out of left field.
All right,
Like
so
Diana.
So here's my safe prediction.
Yep.
All right, and then I'll give you my. I don't think it's that insane. I want the caveat to be that I don't think the second one is that crazy. I love that man. I think he can do it. First, my safe prediction is the World Championship winner Taylor Bowe playing Win Tristan.
Sure.
I think the best deck in the room. I think the best player of that deck in the world. It's probably a pretty good tournament for him. So,
yeah.
So that's my safe pick for Taylor. My not so safe pick is Hanky the Goat playing 52 allies.
I can tell you one thing. I won't lose to that.
I think I don't know what he's playing because I don't have any information, so don't leaks or whatever. He made a post I think the other day about playing Merlin. He's like, I don't know what to play. I'm just gonna play Merlin, but I know Hanky. He'll be registering 52 allies, and then he'll win Ascent Boston. How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you guys so much for watching. That is all that we have for you this week, as we just mentioned. We will not be here next week, but we will return to you. Drum roll. Drum roll. On the 29th of August. Maybe in the meantime, we'll work on some other stuff. We got some pots in the fire or whatever, however you say that. So stay tuned to the Lineage Break channel. We have lots coming to you. We're moving into our new store this week. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. But you guys will maybe see some stuff from there once we are moved in, and you guys can get, a view of our Grand Archive area. I'm going to do my very best to turn our entire store into a, Grand Archive weeaboo paradise. So I'll send lots of pictures of that on the internet. So thank you guys for watching. We will catch you in 2 weeks.
Have a good one, guys.
Hey, see you in Boston.
Yeah.
We'll see you in Boston. All right. Have a good day.
Bye.
Goodbye. Oh no, I've lost my mouse, Steven. I can't leave. I'm trapped here.